Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, Chats 2017, and I feel very moved to talk more about the upcoming eclipse. But I do want, and this is, I just feel necessary to say, this is July 29th. Ooh. And it's already getting so busy. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. And I'm more and more aware that it's already done. I hope that you're feeling that way too. I really do. I hope that you are having moments of realizing that, oh yeah, the work's complete. Isn't that nice? We're gonna be coasting into this one, just going whee. And I know that a lot of people aren't there. And baby, if you're one of those people who are having trouble, hang on tight. Read some essays, man. There was this one about trapezes and wind, and I kept seeing this person who was in a windstorm, and they were clutching. It's like, what do you do when you're in a windstorm and you got like your packages and stuff that you've been carrying and all this random stuff, right? Well, it's natural you're going to want to put the stuff that you want to protect it, right? What happens if the wind keeps whipping around you and things are getting pulled away? It's like, boy, I better quickly decide what's priority. And then hang on tight. Well, honey, this windstorm ain't stopping. So your hands are empty. Maybe not this lifetime, but next. And then you realize what's in front of you is this really, really tall, skinny ladder, and the download I got was that of a big tent, a high top tent, and I've had that image a lot, circuses and things like that. But in this image, there was going to be a trapeze show, and what they went on and on about trapezes, they love trapezes. But the idea behind this was, okay, well, you've been in the tent for a really super long time, and you've been watching people going ooh ah, and your feet have naturally found themselves here at the base of this long skinny tower of a ladder. I mean, it's tall. You think you're going to be able to scale that ladder with your hands full of stuff, clutching valises full of photographs and memories you can't part with? Alright, stay with your stuff then. That's not a problem. Sometimes that's really important to do. You're not done with your stuff. That's cool. Because you gotta have free hands, or it's dangerous. You gotta be unencumbered, or you put yourself at risk. And if it's your time, you notice there's not, the ladder is empty. It is not congested. It's just sitting there glittering in its silverness. Kind of lonely for a human being to scale it again. So it's not like that there's a lot of people, and sure, there's some people who are milling around. They look like they might be next to present themselves against their better judgment, but you can't do this last bit hanging on to stuff. It's about the removal of attachments, after all. Attachment to what you consider you. You are your job. You are the set of complex tasks that you learned from someone else who had mastered the tasks. That's what you are. Whether it be in advertising or in nursing. Is that what you are? Are you those moments of tenderness and expansion that you share with your child, your lover, your spouse? Are you that? Because people usually lead with their marital status and how they keep the lights on. And okay, that's nice shorthand. That tells me a lot. Tells me a lot. But is that who we are? And if you don't have intelligence, if you lose your ability to have that photographic memory and that instant recall, who are you then? When you get divorced or you have other tragedies, who are you then? Who are you then? When everything that you've worked for is gone, who are you then? That's the path of the ascensionist. I am that I am that I am. So for me, the eclipse is a done deal. And I've said that before. And I'm surprised to say it now. And mean it so entirely. But I know for me, just for me, everything that eclipse has to offer, I have already experienced, including a hard reset. If you want to go back, you may review it. It's the piece called A Special Graduation. It talks about my casino experience. But it's been coming back, and I'll mention it simply to reiterate that weird part of it that I haven't been referencing lately, but it's been coming through when I'm driving and showering and things like that, so it's what I'm wanting to share. I was at a casino and I was waiting. I hadn't been on a date for over a decade, and I was going to be going on a date. Ooh. And I did not want to go. I had chosen someone who I know I would just quarrel with, and who I would not like. Just not agree with the way that he was conducting his business. And yet I was so lonely that I wanted to go, just to get some sugar off him. And I knew that wasn't right, and I was just feeling shitty, but excited, and ready, but scared, and all that stuff. And I wanted so much just to realize all of a sudden, I just want God to come down. I just want God to come down and be with me and be my friend and my lover and my sustenance and my everything. That's all I want in this life. I love God, I love God, and it was just like, where I went from there, I've never returned, in a way. Everything changed for me, and I saw this huge white light, and I had a visitation. And I knew I could have left. I knew I would either blink out and show up in some other reality, or my body would just very gently crumple, and that would be that. Shed a skin and keep on moving. Or I could stay put, be human. But I had to make a decision. And it's a decision that I've presented to myself many, many times in my life. But not like that. And I had assurance that this light was never going to leave me again. And I said, if I stay, it's not optional. I can't do this alone anymore. I just can't. So if you're with me, and you're not lying, then yeah, I'll stay. So, I cashed out and went to another machine, and I was not doing well. I was down to about $4. Dang, I'm not that wealthy. Come on now. And then all of a sudden, in the entire casino, this was the Monarch back in the day, all the lights and all the machines went out all at once. And in this little ear I heard giggling, and I felt this bubbling in my chest, and I heard them say, oops. And then they started explaining. It was like, yakety, 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 yak. Okay, you said you didn't want to be alone anymore. Here we go. It was like that. They explained, yeah. What, you think you get a hit of light like that? And the net, they use that word, net, doesn't reset? It has to reset. And that's, I think, why I'm so pleased with my previous work today. When I went about quasar, oh, there's more about that, and I'll get to it. Yeah, here it is. And yes, it's all related to the eclipse, I promise. And sure, it might be personal, but what I'm getting at is profound and beautiful. In that moment, after that big hit of light, the casino goes dead. There is no juice. I hear hee hee hee, oopsie. And then they explain, yeah, this is real. This is real. And there are going to be resets. All of your electric equipment, including your car, is going to go down. And maybe it'll recover, maybe it won't, but that's part of it. And if all that is being reset, imagine what's happening to your body, dear. And so that was sort of the idea behind what happened. And then I was getting bored, and it was dark, and I keep thinking about how dark it was. There were some open windows, and I think it's going to maybe be darker in Leadville for the eclipse. I think it's 71%. Than it was in that casino. And once I realized that, it's like, okay, well, I saw myself in Nebraska. But what I saw was the event from above, not from below. From the beginning, that's the downloads I've been getting. Then to hear them in their channeling about the eclipse, talk about the event being above. That really kind of just sent a reverberation through me. So what I've been getting now is this beautiful picture of a luminous, it's a black disc with the light all around it. And in that moment, you know, there's the diamond ring, and then there's this ring of fire. And it's in those moments that I understand that all of the big souls, all of the big souls, it's like they're ringing the planet, looking on, and beaming love, beaming intention, beaming white light. It's really intense. And it's not the darkness that I'm focusing on or seeing. It's this tremendous focusing of intention. They're really going to be working during those hours. It's not going to let up. And it really is like a deluge. And I can see them, and it's like crop circle. It's like getting together and doing a crop circle, but times that by 100 million souls and intentions and prayers for peace. Oh my God. And I am fully aware that I think some people are going to, you know, literally have resets after this. And so I'm beginning to see that it's really appropriate to use my story as a bit of a cautionary tale, and also as a roadmap. Because I went through it. I've been through it now twice. I went through it with the teachers, and then I went through it in Technicolor just recently. So it's just fascinating to watch this, and to be really okay with having had things complete for me. Honestly, every single day now. For I'd say the last maybe 7 or 10 days, every day I wake up thinking, and you know, functioning in my reality, thinking I don't need an eclipse. This just got so much more sparkly every single day. So I'll end by talking a little bit more about the energetic management that I've seen change so significantly. Because the last tape I did, it was, well, you know, that's all I can say. It's very difficult to language what I'm experiencing with energy. It always is, and I wind up talking in very symbolic and metaphoric terms. But for me, working with the energy now, it just feels more friendly. There's less squabbling. There's less internal conflict. There's less confusion over what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. What is well-timed and what is not well-timed. And that's really nice. It just feels like there's a sense of solid wisdom. And like I'm known for saying no worries and no problem, and, you know, it's no sweat and all that. No worries. No worries. Only to get really Twitter-pated and really, really anxious. I think partly that it really was helped when my son just, he tends to be an oracle. And he delivered something very profound a couple days ago when I was talking about process or something, and he said, "Mommy, just, you forget, you solve these problems, and then you forget you've solved them, and you have to solve them again." Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So the Centauri stuff and the twin sun stuff and the DNA stuff, that's all, you know, little stories, little beautiful stories that are little hooks that can get people interested, get people researching, and get people thinking and seeing and feeling. They're triggers. They're triggers. They're triggers. So to close, I'll talk about quasars, pulsars, the event that I had involving white light that felt like a beam that was physical running through my head, and how this, I think, is related to the eclipse energies. I think it's very important to remember, at least for myself. I mean, you don't have to trust any of this, right? But when I've gone into December, when I've gone to the solstice, it's a completely different reality for me. It's everything I wanted and more, and it's so soft. There's no fear. There's laughter. There's release. I can't feel any fear. And given that, it's like that in itself is like a beacon that pulses through these days of just, you know, it's not that far away, and it is so physical. I cannot deny its reality because it's so very physical for me. Can you sense it? It's like there are no questions, there are no problems, there are no conflicts. And the conflicts there are is like deedle 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 way at the bottom. It's like a bag of chips, not a meal. And this is not something that's just dawning on me. I've been having this feeling for quite a while. I've been sharing it. As such, at the beginning, I was convinced that meant I was going to die, because it was so impossible for me to imagine being comfortable like that and being alive. It was impossible for me to imagine being happy and having a pulse, because honestly, there's always going to be somebody in my reality who's going to be just gasping their last breath on their own personal cross that is stuck on the earth, and I have to keep moving around it because they get in the way. Oi. And I look up and see, oh, that's me again? Jesus, come on. Get off of that thing. So just different realities completely. And the the quasar information I got really, really early was just completely innate. It was what I saw. It was the birth of something. It was the birth of something. It was so incredibly beautiful and holy. And then about a year ago, at the very actually beginning of this really big expansion I had, I knew I was going to be having another hit of light and I'd have a vagal response, but I didn't know what it'd be like. I knew I was leading up to it, and then it happened. During that whole thing, all I could smell was roses, and I'd been hoping to be able to emit odors and smells to delight and quiet people. And I just smelled roses, and then I fell onto the ground and was in the middle of an event, and then this big light came. But it was sound, and it was physical. It was like a beam. It was like that crystal. I always want to call it dolomite, but I think it's selenite. That long tubular white crystal that, you know, you can't snap in half with your hand if it's in a long thing. It was like that going through. It was like pew, 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 pew. And it was from here to here. And I felt hooked on it because it went like that. And I understood that it was hooking up to universes and coming back around, and going and coming back around, and that was what was going on. What? What's that? And what they told me afterwards, it was like, hee hee hee. Well, she doesn't know what happened, so we're not going to say what happened. That was the kind of, you're going to have to figure it out kind of thing they left me with when I channeled around it. But I understood that it was some sort of transmission. It had a sound. I knew it was sound. I knew it was a gift. I knew it was information. And I knew it was somehow connected to radar, to pulsars and quasars. They dropped the hint that it was like a little EMF pulse, and that it was a good thing that there was no electronics on in the house, because had there been a light on, then pew, the whole thing would have been blown. But they told me to turn off the only light that was on in the house. I did that, and then I conked. So the reason I bring it up is that, you know, part of this has been for me a very physical experience, and trying to, I mean, I've always felt safe. I just didn't know what any of it really meant. But once they said EMF pulse, I looked that up, and there it was. It's quasar energy. It's pulsar energy. It's radio frequencies. Radio frequencies. I don't know how to explain it, except to simply say the words and then live day to day, allowing things to make sense. Extraordinary events and situations and information that it's not a singular experience, it's an interactive experience. So this is how life used to be for me when the teachers were around. I knew my life to be a living laboratory, and I was in agreement with that, and I understood it was benevolent, that there was a hand holding mine, not guiding anything, just holding mine. And then I walked for a long time without guidance and with no hand in mine. And it was hard. I don't want to do that again. I'm glad to be here finally. And I'm glad to be together, all of us together. I appreciate my multiplicity, and I giggle about it. And I know how to work it now, baby. So, yes, did you notice my beautiful nails? Ooh, I'm so cute. Got my toenails done too. Ooh. I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved. Because it was by accident. It was just by like a sneak in. All of a sudden, boom. All these people. Hey, girl. You're so fine. Yeah, I know. What do you got to offer me? My time. My attention. My fun. My carefreeness. My bravery. Oh, alright, that sounds like fun. When do you want to meet up? Saturday night. Alright. As long as you follow my rules, why would I not? Well, alrighty then. Game on, baby. Ooh. I can live with that. When it's super easy. Haven't I said that? It's the stuff that's super easy where you go, oh, holy crap, how did that happen? Wow, this just zoomed into my life and it's well with me? Yeah, that's how it works. And it's really okay to be really super pissed that's not happening. Did you perhaps witness that in my countenance from time to time? Yeah, it's really not very pleasant to be a rubber band that keeps getting stretched. Yeah, we know you can take it. No, I can't! Oh my God. So, there you go. I'm so happy to be able to say, there you go. Oh my God. I'm happy all this is happening. I'm happy that I'm not scared anymore. And I'm happy to know it's going to only get thicker. So I wish you well. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you harmony. I wish you balance. Okay, the Antares, the Watcher of the West, who's in charge of the autumnal equinox and sunsets. That's my energy, the Antares stuff. Okay, well the thing behind obsession, this is what I've always known. You can travel far. Conspiracy theory, anywhere you want to go. You just can't lose your balance, baby. You lose your balance and you're toast. Because the places I can go, they can devour minds. You stay balanced. Balanced in what? Well, if you're a mountain, you got a very, very large center of gravity. But and I didn't ever feel pushed around by the information. I felt like a conduit and a master of it. But I think it was moving through all of this and just kind of getting to the place where it's pushing past being a simple female who's not supposed to know these things. And poo, fie, naughty, if you say that isn't the case, then you haven't been paying attention. And my guess is that you're part of the problem. Anytime there's denial of that, it's like, okay, well then then unfortunately you're still ignorant to it. But there's this overlay. If you're a female, then you're not going to get laid if you're smart, and or it's going to be really complicated and really hard. Well, that's true. What does it tell you about men? Not very bright as a group. All right, there's a few, and thank God for you. But yeah, even they lack emotional intelligence, and oh, I don't know, a moral center. that can be counted on that has anything but themselves at the center of it. But that's their thing. Enjoy that. And thus far, that's only what my consciousness has been able to show me in spades. I've seen other stylings of what it's like to be masculine, and I've been very impressed. But I've not seen anybody execute the whole thing, where they're completely integrated and in my reality. I don't have integrated males in my reality. I've, for the most part, manipulative game-playing males. And that's even changing. Ooh la la. Vis-a-vis tonight. So, it's quite shocking how well compensated, honest, decent, open, real people are by me. And knowing a few of them, that's helped a great deal. Because once you're there, you're aware that a lot of people aren't. And that's fine. That's fine. That's a garden of delight too. Don't expect much. And you've heard me say that from time to time, but then I've always gotten sucked into it. I always wound up feeling so small. Yeah, never again. Never again. The people who I have let bring me so low. Yeah, never again. But wasn't it fun? Yes, it was fun. Live and learn. So, there it is. The eclipse, I think it's a massively important event. And it's one of a series of massively important events that have been happening from time immemorial and will continue to happen ad infinitum. And I'm so glad to be alive for these moments. It's what I signed up for. It's the only reason I'm here. And to finally be able to figure a few things out. Wow. Wow. To not be quarrelsome and angry and a handful and hard to take. Wow. Wow. So, whatever. I walk day to day and moment to moment really just feeling rewarded. Like, what's going to happen next? It's all so awesome. I say these words knowing full well that's like the opposite of what my life was. So maybe I'm saying that for that one who's so harmed, so wounded, and so hopeless. It gets better. It gets better. It gets better.